Battleline Podcast, and yeah, this is it, guys. This is the final episode, and this episode will be all about
Uh,
what this podcast has meant to you guys for six
yeah.
years, and some of the feedback we've gotten from many of you. But before we get into everything, for one last time, we really have to give a huge token of appreciation to Bub's Naturals, who's been a giant part
Yeah.
of this podcast going. I mean, I'm just going to go off script and say thank you so much to the team over there, Sean Lake in
Yeah.
particular, for helping us do what we do and just putting out amazing, amazing products and keeping the legacy of Glenn Bub Doherty alive.
Yeah, and they're doing well, and they're just and that right where they should. I mean, they have a great product and they have good reps. They have good, I want to say, what do you call them, public figures or sponsors or whatever, but they got great people repping their product. So we like to thank you, and Sean, thank you because I'm a friend with Sean now. This is not only developed with a business relationship, but now it's a friendship, a personal relationship, which that will last forever. So thanks, Sean. Thanks, Bub's Naturals, and thank you for continuing to keep Glenn's name out there.
Absolutely. And as far as I know, the promo code is still working. So
Right.
use promo code Battleline as long as that lasts. That'll get you a discount when you go to bubsnaturals.com. And with that, let's get right into this final episode of Battleline Podcast.
From Kansas City to New York City, from planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space, a podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto,
Switch is on, motherfucker, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battleline Podcast.
The switch is on, Battleline Podcast, and we get to say the switch is on for one final time. And for those who don't remember, that I'm pretty sure was on the Nate Boyer episode,
Yeah.
and I remember the first few episodes you saying we need to have a catchphrase, man, and it just it comes naturally, and that was just a spur of the moment, improv on your part, and it stuck.
Right, and that's something I've said forever. I used to say that when we were downrange, you're just joking around. Hey, switch is on. I shoot a motherfucker in the face, and it was actually watching funny war movies where, and then like I'm gonna get you, sucker, and then what's the one that me and Bub used to watch? Black Dynamite, which it came from some of those black exploitation funny movies, and I said it in my most racially insensitive voice when I said, but it was funny. So whenever we go to a place and I go to a deployment and we come to it, that was something I would say when we go out. Hey man, let's go. Open that door. Let's shoot a motherfucker in the face and flip the switch. But that's some truism to that too, because that's what a lot of guys are. A lot of guys are, and you'll see most of the hardcore guys, and I'm saying I'm hardcore, but most of them, the majority of them, calm as all can be. Everything's just right here, and then it's a switch. Turn it on and wow, stay out of their way. And I learned from some of the best. So that's where it came from. But yeah, it was cool how it stuck. But it's been something I've been saying for years, and it reminds me of being downrange. So I'm glad it did stick. And then patch ops when they were one of our sponsors made a cool little patch of it, and I thought and actually did quite well. So it's super cool. I mean, it's cool to have a little catchphrase out there. Hope it doesn't ever go away. But who knows?
But
Maybe
you
it'll-
created
maybe
it,
it'll.
right? I know you're saying
Yeah.
like inspired by movies and all, but you create like I don't
No.
think it's from a movie.
No, it's not at all like a movie where it's a movie line. It was
Yeah.
my mashup of all these movies I used to watch, and I just thought was funny. I thought it was funny,
Yeah.
and then we were doing the podcast. Like, well, let's go to the next. Let's mash it up a little bit more, and it just worked. So Yeah.
It just happened, I think, from the Nate Boyer, because like I said, I'm pretty sure it was the Nate Boyer episode, and that was pretty early
It
on.
was early on. It was really early on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, um, truth be told, man, I mean, there's a lot of feedback we have, but I already know by the time this episode goes up, I'm gonna get a ton more emails because the
I
way
know.
that this just worked out was that we had to make an announcement prior to the podcast going up. And like, I know a lot about our demographics. It's really it's easier than people would think to find out about our demographics. Like, I'm talking income, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we know what location people listen, we know their income, their background, sex, all of that. And so I know for a fact the vast majority of our podcast listeners do not have social media. So they're not going to know that this show is ending
So they
until
listened to it.
before this show goes up because
Yeah.
the second to last show hasn't come out yet. So there's a ton of people who email us. And so to those who hadn't heard the announcement and didn't get time to write us, I apologize. But this is just basically the people who follow us in social media. And we'll get to all of it. I mean, first and foremost, and we'll do a read for them later. Robbie Forrester of Fort Scott Munitions says, Ian, it's been a great run, and thank you for letting us be a part of it. We really enjoyed it and wish you all the best. And Fort Scott has been so paramount in keeping this podcast going.
Definitely.
So I had to read that one. Friend of the show who has his own very successful podcast, John Waters of the Afterburn
Yeah.
podcast, says, Ian, saw your Instagram post about winding down the podcast. Just wanted to say congrats on a strong run. I know how much time, effort, and energy gets poured into the stuff. I have no doubt you guys have had a significant impact on many lives and brought stories to eyes and ears that would not have otherwise found them. I have another big podcast buddy who is hanging it up on December 31st after an 8-year run. Congrats, man. Rain. And yeah, there's a few people, man. Jason Piccolo has been on the show. I saw just wound down his podcast. So, there's a lot. I don't want to say like this whole thing is dying down there, but because there are podcasts still having a great run. Sean Ryan not going anywhere. But, it is what it is. And I think a 6-year shelf life is respectable. And the episodes will still be there for everybody.
Why? And we have other irons in the fire. It'd be different if this was the only thing that we did. And
Yeah.
you guys that follow me know that's not the case. In fact, I've got to head to Kansas City right when we're done with this to go catch a flight to Savannah to go speak, and then LA to speak, and then back to Ocean City to speak. And I just finished 2 of my Battleline Tactical private courses the last 2 weekends. So, and then you're working full time and you have your own podcast. So it was a good time to do it. We talked about that last podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Was sometimes podcast ends where guys hate each other. That's why they end. And you don't know why do that. You and I are good friends. We'll
No.
always be good friends. So it was cool that it was something where we both agreed on. And
Yeah.
and it is time. It'd also be different if we live in the same place and we were doing it in studio all the time. I'm sure numbers would be different there too. But when it comes right down to it, to me, it's less about numbers and more about, hey, it's the time it's done, shelf life. It's time to move on. And I do want to focus more on the private courses for Battleline Tactical because it keeps me home and they're so fun. They're fun. So yeah, but we did it at the right time. I can just feel it. It's correct. It's time to. All right, hey man, let's put this aside for a while, and then maybe 10 years from now, something crazy will happen, and old Tonto will come back, and Ian will look like me, and I'll look like a 70-year-old man because I will be that old, but close.
I mean, the cool thing is it's our feed. We're not on some network. We own it. So
we own it.
If 3 months from now we go, hey, some major event happened, let's comment on it. We can. So yeah, I don't ever want to say, this is the end, but at the same time, I don't want to say we're never coming back because actually it's funny. It ties into what I do with Ian Scott or Rocks. So all these bands who come back, and Dee Snyder from Twisted Sister, who I worked with, has been adamant. All these bands come back. Kiss said they were doing their final tour, and Motley Crue said they were doing their final tour, and we'll never do that. We're going to stick to our word, and now they've announced they're coming back. and the funny thing is, JJ French of Twisted Sister did say, and I think this would be funny, that before they go on stage, they're going to play, he said this is what they're thinking of doing. They're going to play all the clips of D. Snyder going, we're
Oh,
never going to come
we're
back.
back.
It's not happening. I think that would be a funny way for them to come back on stage.
Or
So,
to me, that would work because that was when they were blowing up. They were great, talented, but it was there was some humor to their
yeah. Oh,
music
yeah.
and the video, and that was during the music video age, so they could make some
Diaz
fun
said the
of it.
videos were all inspired by Road Runner and Wile E. Coyote. He said that's what the videos were all about. Like
Really,
the Road
I
Runner.
yeah, I didn't think that. I didn't. Yeah, I would never have thought of that. I know they had the guy from Animal House was the dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I thought,
But you think about it, it's like them setting up all these booby traps. It was kind of the same as Wile E. Coyote.
That's true. That's true. I mean, now that you said it, it makes sense. But I would never have put the two and two together. But those were still those are still iconic videos. I
Oh yeah.
still watch MTV Classic, especially when they have what was the old rock MTV
Headbangers Ball.
Headbangers Ball, and they'll bring it on MTV Classic every once in a while. I still love watching that. Best videos ever.
I've
Best.
tried to get Ricky Rackman on the show, and I met him, and he's a good friend of Gary Brugman.
No way.
And
I didn't know
oh
that.
yeah, they like grew up together. But
Oh
the thing is,
shit.
it's funny. I've said to Ricky many times, "Come on," and Ricky's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to talk about politics." I'm like, "We're not going to
We
talk
don't
about
talk about
politics,"
politics.
And he's just convinced that. But he's a really nice guy, man. Gary will tell you the same. Like, a really good guy. And the cool thing is, Ricky still does these like motorcycle rides for charity all across the United
Cool.
States.
Cool.
And if you follow him on social media, the thing he's always said is like, the things you see on the news that everybody's infighting, he's like, guys, I ride a motorcycle all over the United States, and it's not true. He's
Not
like,
exactly.
everybody kind of gets along more or less, and stop watching the news. And yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, it's too late to get him on at this point, but
Well, maybe
yeah.
if you ever, did if he asked to come on Ian Scott or Rocks. I know you don't bring people on, but you would have him on, dude.
I mean, I would do it in person
you
because
would.
when I met
Yeah,
him in
you do it.
person,
Yeah.
him and Jamie Josta went to Sally's, a famous pizza place in Connecticut, in New Haven. I think it's, or is it? I'm so bad with locations, man. It's where it's famous for pizza in Connecticut. But
I
anyway,
mean,
yeah, I went. They said they were going to be there. I went. I hung out with them. I gave Ricky some money for the charity he was doing, and super cool guy. So I think at some point he'll be back on his motorcycle around here, and I could just say
you
let's
say,
do it in
come on, let's
person.
do it in person, do it in studio. I don't want to hear their politics. I like just to hearing the road stories. I like to hear
Yeah,
about the debauchery. And I still loved hearing them. When we had Scotty and Lewis on, his stories
oh
were
yeah,
incredible. That is another guy where I'm glad we've had on because he's become, whether it's a social media, I don't think he's a social media friend to me. He's actually, to
yeah,
me, become a friend. So that's super cool to have those guys on because we didn't get into politics. We just got into, man, well, life, just life.
yeah,
That's all it is. I want to hear about your life because I don't know. I grew up with Motley Crue. I grew up with you guys. Come
yeah.
on, man. I grew up playing football. I grew up joining the army. Listen before we flip the switch and shoot a motherfucker in the face. I'm listening to Motley Crue. So
Which
yeah,
song? Like Kickstart My Heart, probably.
Kickstart My Heart and Dr. Feelgood. I mean, of
Oh hell
course.
yeah,
And they're still on my work. And then when I was coming home, home sweet home. When I'm
yeah,
flying home, I was Ozzy Osbourne. Mama coming home. It was Motley Crue. Home Sweet Home, and it was Blake Shelton as well. And that one I think is Home. So it was those three main ones were the ones when I got on a plane and we left either Iraq or Afghanistan, got out of the airspace. I listened to those because it felt like I was coming home, and I still feel that way when I listen to all three of those songs. So
yeah.
yeah. I wish we would have, but no. I hope he comes on your show because, dude, that'd be good. That would be a good episode. I'd even listen to that, and I don't watch you, and I don't watch YouTube.
But yeah, I brought it up just because, to go full circle, I'm not going to say we'll never ever do a show again. No, it's possible.
It's possible.
We don't see it in the foreseeable future, but it wouldn't be hard for us to just do this again and
Yeah.
make an episode if we both feel that we want to. And who
Never say
knows? I mean,
never.
with YouTube, sometimes these episodes just go viral out of nowhere. It's not viral, but like I've been looking at when I asked Evan Seinfeld about how Biohazard got back together. And
Yeah.
like when that clip went up, it was like nothing, and now it's a lot of views. The clip of Jason Ellis talking about Brendan Schaub,
Brendan Schaub.
that has a ton of views right now. So
It's
sometimes like in
weird.
time, it takes off.
Yeah, it's weird. You know more how that works. I don't. I have no clue. I'll say
Just
something.
because something's
Yeah,
relevant. I think like with the
yeah.
Biohazard one, I think it's because they're on tour. I think it's because they have a new album coming out. So the algorithm sends it to us.
Well, I think, well, the episode and well, the Sean Ryan stuff's gonna because I was on Sean Ryan, but there's gonna list people are gonna list this podcast because I said Sean's a friend and
Yeah.
Jack Silva just wrote a statement. In fact, I just shared it. Sean hit me up. He goes, "Hey, I need you to collaborate on this." All right, buddy, collaborate. On social media, Jack Silva,
Yeah.
the one that no you guys don't know. He doesn't. He wrote a statement to Sean, and Sean read it on social media because Jack watched Tig's episode that was on Sean
Yeah.
Ryan recently, and Jack, I said, this is how close the team is. We are still extremely close. We are. And he felt so inclined because of the D-boy incident. And Jack wrote, "Hey, this is what happened from my perspective." And it was awesome. And I think that honestly will probably push some people to watch the podcast if just because Sean has that effect because of his following. So I'm agree, but things blow up out of nowhere, and if it does, that's the beauty, and that's why I said last podcast that we had, our second to last, is that we are just going on a permanent hiatus. That doesn't mean we're
Yeah.
done, but we're on a hiatus for an unforeseeable time. But if we want to bump back on, we can, and that's what I'm glad. And you were smart about that, maintaining control of everything. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we did that. Definitely.
Yeah, that's important. All right, looking at some more stuff here. This is someone who's written us so much over the years and is a childhood friend of yours, Robin. Good
Love
afternoon,
Robin.
KP and Ian. Sorry to see that you were shutting down the podcast. Enjoyed the podcast through these years. Thank you, Robin. And I actually appreciate it because sometimes Robin will write these huge. I thought I was gonna have
I,
a huge, and I try to get to everyone, but I know what the podcast meant to you and really appreciate your feedback over
no,
the years. And there were times Robin would be like, I totally disagree with something you said, and that's cool. I don't
but
I
that's
don't
her.
think there's
She's
anything
always
wrong with
been like
that.
that since high school. She's always been like that, dude.
Yeah.
She's gonna tell you what the hell she thinks, and she's gonna
Yeah, no,
say,
I love it. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah, yeah.
I don't like people who are just gonna, kiss my ass or
No,
your ass because we
we
said
don't
it.
want we don't want
Yeah.
sycophants. We're not looking for sycophants. We want, and that's a big word for me. I had that on my calendar, word of the day. But we don't want that, and I don't think we ever have that. We have
No.
people that probably agree with us because we're just in line. You're going to agree with people more than others, just because that's just your school of thought. But Robin is definitely, knowing her from high school, she'll tell you you're effed up if you're effed up. And
Yeah.
I've never had that issue with her. And that's why I've always loved her because she's honest. And I do
And
love her
some people
honesty.
can't take that, man.
I
And
know.
sometimes it's the people that, try to portray themselves as huge alpha
They do.
males. I mean, anyone who listens to Rogan recently, I really thought it was fucked up
Yeah.
the way he treated his friend Brian Callen on the show. Like Brian Callen said to him, he said to him that he didn't agree with him on the vaccines thing. And then he called him, he was like, "Oh, well, Mr.
I,
Scientist." And Rogan was like, "Don't call me Mr.
don't call me
Scientist because I
shy.
could find something to call you." And then like he walked out of the room. It's like, dude, if your whole thing is you want to have a free forum for people to talk, and
Yeah,
he talks shit all the time,
I
but you're
know.
gonna get butthurt because he called you Mr. Scientist, like, come on, dude.
I,
I think there's a lot of guys who you got to have a thick skin if you want to do this. If you want to do a podcast and you want to get people's feedback and dude, unless you're disrespectful, I have no problem with someone even breaking my balls
and
or
aren't they,
disagreeing,
they're friends, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
Longtime
friends.
friends. So it'd just be like me giving you shit. We're friends, dude. You don't take me seriously, but
Yeah.
hey, you jackass. You're
Yeah.
not. No, you're not. I, and you can tell when somebody, if you said something disrespectful for
Oh
me,
yeah.
I'd be able to, just as I said it to you. But if I did it
Sure.
to you, just by the facial expressions, just by the other
And
indicators.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Rogan's been disrespectful to guests before. Like I remember when he had Dave Portnoy on the show, and he was
And
like,
see
"You're
that
being
one.
a bitch. Quit being." And to me, you could talk like that to a really good friend, and you got to
Yeah.
know it's the right person.
Yeah.
But they're not really good friends. And you've probably had it happen to you because I feel like guys in general just have. Where I remember the way one of my good friends would talk to me. their girlfriend started talking to me the way that they talk to me. And to me,
No,
it's like, you don't have
no,
that
you don't
right.
have
There's a
that
different
pass,
way he
man.
could talk to me.
Yeah, you don't have that pat. When Tig and I got, you saw it. When we get on, hey, you big wuss, you little
Yeah.
bitch. Why are you being a little? We can do that, but
Yeah.
yeah, somebody else comes on, you can't. You cross the line, and then it does become disrespectful. I
Yeah.
don't listen to Rogan like people. I never really. I mean, I think he's great at what he does, but it's not something that interests me. But I did hear that because I know you don't like this show, but I do listen to it. It's Broken Simulation with Sam Tripoli every once in a while, and he gets too much in the conspiracy stuff and then the Jew hating, which he does. I get,
Yeah.
but he played that.
He's a
That's a
funny
big.
guy, though. I'm not going to
He is
deny
funny,
that. Yeah.
and honestly, I love his. I love his sidekick there. I forget his, but I
That I
love
don't even
their.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a good. It works well, but he played that. I don't listen to Rogan, but he played that, and Tripoli's a yeah. He. I think he wants to have Rogan's babies the way he loves Rogan, but he played that, and I did. I heard that. Like, man, that's kind of dicked up if
Yeah.
and if it's your buddy and I get it, but it didn't sound like a buddy pushback. It
No, and
sounded
it was
like no.
also, it was like, here's the thing, and it's funny, we're going off on
I
a
know
tangent
we're
here,
going.
but
I
he
know.
said to him, he goes, you don't know what you're talking about. I've done the research, blah, blah, blah. And then, so if Rogan's whole thing is he goes like, wow, you watch the TV and they just say, they don't let anyone come on with a different perspective. And they're like, I'm the expert, you're not. You're kind of doing the same thing, man. If you feel so strongly about the vaccines thing, have a debate with your friend about it. If he really doesn't know shit, then it's going to show from you having a debate, as opposed to being like, don't name call
Well,
me and walking out of the room.
I think they're both not scientists. The other Brian Callen, I know that
Yeah.
I picture him because I've seen him in some movies and things, but so
Oh
when
yeah.
I didn't know who he was until looked at the photo, and he's been was a B actor in some actually pretty funny movies,
Oh yeah.
and but honestly, they both were just. It became down to where it wasn't friendship. They both were getting angry and just talking shit to each other, and it was Rogan's show, and you could tell that Callen, I think he apologized or something after on social media, or said, "Oh, that's just us talking to each other." And I'm like, I don't know. Ian and I have done that before, and it didn't sound like that.
Yeah.
That sounded like Rogan was shutting your ass down, and it looked like you guys were fighting, and it didn't come across well on your show. But like I said, that's drama. That
Yeah.
definitely gets clicks, obviously,
It
because I
does.
don't even listen to Rogan and I even know what that is. So maybe it was planned. Maybe that was the plan, man.
No, I don't think I really don't, but
The Howie Mandel plans it.
that was
Howie
yeah.
does that. That shit's
That
funny.
was that was definitely
funny.
planned and it was smart.
Yeah,
But
that was
yeah, I
hilarious.
don't get the vibe from that.
Yeah, I know.
But
I don't
anyway,
either.
Nick Giordano. Okay, so this guy I was gonna give the Battleline Podcast flag to because he owned that place Offsides Tavern, which
Right.
was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Islanders theme bar,
Yeah, yeah.
which is no longer around, unfortunately. But I know Nick
Aw.
was a big fan of the show, and Nick writes, "Hey Ian and Chris, I'm sure you're getting flooded with emails since the news of the podcast coming to a close, so I'll try and keep this short and sweet. Thank you for all of the years of amazing content. I found you guys about a year ago, and since then, I've been completely hooked. I've gone back and started from the beginning and just nearing episode 200 at this time of my email.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
it is.
Yeah.
I have my own business and work by myself, so most of the days in the shop are filled with episodes of Battleline. You guys have helped me push through so much in the last year. Whenever I needed a boost, I'd throw an episode on. Whenever something would go wrong, I'd think about your message and take a step back, not letting it get to me and power through. At one point, I thought about shutting down for good, and your never quit message would ring in my head
That's
whenever those
awesome.
thoughts came rattling around. I've
Awesome.
taken so much from all of your conversations with all different types of people from different walks of life. Thank you for helping all of the listeners out and changing our lives for the better. I wish you guys nothing but the best and hope everything you have coming up works out in the best way for you guys. Thank you again, Nick Giordano. P.S. Let's go Islanders. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I didn't know his place shut down. That's too bad. Damn.
Yeah, that's why I never gave the flag to him, which it went to someone else who it shouldn't have gone to. It
All
should
right,
have gone to
good.
him.
Oh, it shouldn't have gone. All right, that's your story, man. You want to tell it? That's fine. But yeah, that's your story, bro.
But yeah, that's how. So I'm looking at the social media stuff here. Man, there's so I gotta. So Ian Olness, he says will be missed. I won't be able to read all of these. I'll try to read what we can. Steve Sanders, who's been a big friend of the show.
Yeah, Sandman.
My therapist said if the show goes off the air, that my mental health will suffer. Seriously, the show has been such a wonderful part of my routine and seems like forever. I guess we do take things for granted, but I am grateful for all that you two have done. So many great shows, but I must say my favorite were the ones with Sarah Adams. We'll be keeping up with Chris through Battleline Tactical, but how can we keep track of Ian? Um,
Ian Scott rocks, man.
yeah,
It
YouTube.
is.
Ian Scott
YouTube.
rocks. They'll be on there.
Dang
I mean,
right.
and you still have a presence on everywhere. So yeah,
Yeah, dude. That's so Sandman, and you're always you know that deal, bud. You know where we are. You've come and trained with us before, so you've got the skill sets. Come on and shoot whenever we have a course. Granted, I don't do a ton of them, but when I do, you know the deal. You know where we're at. So thanks for saying that, buddy. And follow Ian Scott rocks, man.
thank you.
Write comments at YouTube. He'll answer them for you. Do it, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is a really great one, even though it's short, it's important. Dean Tolentino says, your podcast was where I could go and remember my boot camp buddy slash friend, Tyrone Snowden Woods.
That's
That's awesome.
awesome. No, that's awesome. I hope one day I get to meet him. I've not met Dean. I've not met him, man. So one of these days, maybe our paths will cross. I just saw Mama Cheryl 2 weeks ago, and we honored her, or I should say, Charlie Daniels Foundation honored Journey Home, I believe is what it's called. They honored her, and then Greg Doherty, Glenn's brother, was there with awards, and it was a huge dinner for them. So yeah, Tyrone is not going anywhere. And then now with Jack putting that statement out to Sean Ryan, it ain't going anywhere for a while. So thanks. And Dean, Tyrone is a hero, dude. That dude was such a badass that night. I was seriously just watching him in action was pretty freaking incredible. And the movie, honestly, I don't think even did it justice to how badass he was. And the movie showed him as a complete total badass. But even the calm moments, like, hey, I just want a cup of coffee. Like, come on, man. Getting shot at, getting blown up. You want a cup of coffee? Yeah, all right, just go down and grab. I mean, that's some cool ass shit. And that's Tyrone, but you know that. So yeah, God bless you, man. Thanks for remembering Roan, and don't ever let his memory fade, and we never will. And luckily for us, and Michael Bay and Paramount and James Badge Dale and Pablo and John Krasinski and Dom Famusa and Dave Demon, you know, all the guys that will never go away because it's etched in history with a fantastic movie. And luckily for us with Michael Bay, his movies are always in syndication. So there, I'm guaranteed that thing will continue to run. So yeah, thanks, buddy. That's really cool you to say. Really cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing about going back in the podcast too is that we've had guests on who really knew Ty even better than you did. You know,
Yeah,
like when we
yeah,
Chris Beck on, and
yeah.
I don't think Chris has told those stories anywhere else. So you could go back to those episodes and hear from people who spent a lot of time with him in the SEALs.
Oh, and you know, that was one thing about us, and I think it's different than other podcasts, is there were people would open up. It was like therapy.
Yeah.
People would open us and give us some really candid stories. So yeah, I implore you guys, go listen to the past episodes. Yes, we're not drama filled. We never wanted to be drama filled. Do we have some drama episodes that just went that
Oh
way?
yeah.
Well, yeah, we're talking. People talk at the bar. You're going to disagree about things, but it was that people open up candidly about their personal life, family, or trials and tribulations, which is what some of these comments are about people getting through hard times. Well, they listen to other people that got through hard times, and some of these people are very well known out there, and they were very candid about their trials and tribulations and adversity. Not just me, but
Yeah.
them. So, and that was what I really enjoyed the show about, was we'd get into some really that nobody will ever get into. I don't, and they never
Yeah.
probably will talk about it again. And I don't know, maybe it's your calming nature, bro. It was just you. It was your, who knows? But
There's true. I think
we
it
would just
worked
go
because
into it.
also when we had veterans on, you have the veteran to veteran connection.
Yeah.
And then for me, yeah, I think I'm a good interviewer. I think it helps, you know. We don't, yeah,
Well,
there's,
we didn't give
yeah,
a gotcha. There's not a gotcha mentality here, and I think they picked up
No,
on
but if
that.
I did have something that was clickbaity, of course, I'm not going to bullshit. Like
Well, it's,
when John Dolmayan talked about Surge, I go, "Oh, this is gold."
well, see, and that's to me, he knows that. I don't. I just like, man, that's a
Yeah,
great story. But John, it was a tremendous. I love both his interview.
yeah,
Tremendous interviews, and he was honest, and that's what I loved about him is he was freaking honest. So
yeah,
be honest, and that's how I always am. You may grab a clickbaity thing that I say. I mean, it's happened on Fox when I said I was going to choke out Obama. I'm not going to choke out Obama, Secret Service, but I said on national TV, I'm honest. I'm just being honest. How do you feel?
yeah,
Well, this is how I feel. And I love that. And John, I love that about him. He was honest. He don't give a crap what you think. I'm going to say this because this is how I feel. And it wasn't being mean. It just was being
no,
him. And that was what was so cool about it. And that's why it was clickbaity because it's honest. He's just being himself, and that says a lot of his character. I really appreciate that. I thought both those interviews were freaking outstanding. I love those. They were crap.
yeah. And the thing about System of a Down, I mean, I asked him like, do you wish you guys would play more type of thing? And he was like, well, we played a show like once a year. What the fuck?
I
But
know.
the thing is, I think it's kind of helped them. Like System of a Down just played Giant Stadium with Corn. If
Just
they
recently?
Just now, yeah.
Wow.
Just a few days before I saw Oasis. So here's the thing. If System of a Down was touring constantly, I don't believe they'd be playing Giant
Oh,
Stadium.
no,
I
no,
think
no.
it's because it's an event. It's like, holy shit, they haven't played this area in 10 years. I'll go. Like, so I think it's worked in their favor. If you could go away for a while, or you could just do one, because Surge, I understand both their points. Surge is like, I don't want to tour, I still want to do this. And John is like, I want to be on the road. And I understand that. And I think if they did what John suggested and got a new vocalist, I don't think they'd be playing Giant Stadium. So
No,
I see both their points.
no. System of a Down to me is you want to see those. I don't
Yeah.
care. You want to see all of them. You want to see, not
Yeah.
just the lead and not just the group without the lead. That's System of a Down. And growing up with System of a Down and deploying with them and listening to their music, it was visual. It wasn't their music was great, but it was also
Yeah.
seeing because they had all those different personas. They were I don't want to say acting, but they did. That that lead guitarist when you look that's System of a Down. I don't even know his name, but I know if I saw him because of the way he carried himself in the videos. And then Surge, of course, you're gonna know. Freaking looks
Yeah.
like Gandalf, a younger Gandalf anyway. So yeah, but I'm with you, and I'm sure they're iconic. They're going to be in the.
Oh
Are
yeah.
they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? If not, they're going to be.
No, no, no.
They should be. They will because they're that good. And that was some great music back in those days. That was the alternative days, and going from man, we lived great music, hair metal
Oh
to
hell yeah.
alternative. That's two great freaking generations of music, and they were hugely part of that. But they were also a big part of my Ranger Battalion time. Love those guys, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things unique with them too is I mean, they've always been big about this. They're all Armenian guys,
Yeah,
two of them are family members. And I think it's actually kind of interesting because you have John, who's the, very right-wing Trump supporter, and Serge, who's very left-wing.
yeah,
However, they seem to come together when it comes to fighting for Armenians,
yeah.
and Armenian genocide and things. So every now and again they have put out a political song, but not American politics. They're very pro-Armenian.
Man,
And
that
so I
family.
thought that's always been cool. They've been able to come together for those causes, even though they may disagree, on
And
American politics.
we can't have Americans come to the same dinner table if you freaking far right or far left.
I
I mean,
know.
come on, guys. Let's you don't have to talk about politics at the dinner table, but you can just
No.
hang out with each other. And it sounds like I mean, I don't know them personally, but it sounds like when it's time to bury the hatchet, they bury the hatchet.
Oh yeah, I mean, I even asked him, "Is this why you guys have put out so little music?" And he was like, "No, there's nothing to do with
I
that.
remember
We could
that.
agree to
Yeah, I
disagree."
remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Joe says, "Damn, I got used to Battleline Tuesdays. It is what it is. Thank you for the greatest. Thank you for some great listening." Okay. There were times
Thanks,
you
bud.
guys said what I needed to hear and did get me through some shit. That's really cool.
Well, thanks, bud. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, bud. I wish we were still coming around. Maybe one day. You never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah, it's always there in the archives. I'll try to read through some more of these. David Shue, good luck in all future endeavors. Look forward to seeing what's next. Rangers lead the way.
All the way.
Uh,
Good
all
job,
the
bud.
way. Sophie Quate, one of my favorite podcasts. I'm gutted. Thank you for everything. Isaac, who we had on the podcast, Isaac G. Lee.
Yeah.
Great run. Thank you for doing it. Honored to have been a very small part of it as a guest. Matt, who I know, says, man.
Isaac just did
Aaron,
a great post, infantry post. It was awesome. I go check. I just put it on my stories. It popped up when I had to do
well, they're
shot
not going to see it by then.
collaborate. Damn it! That's right.
It's
It's
gonna be
not.
a week from Tuesday.
All right, go to Isaac's and look at his page because I pulled it off his page when I was collaborating with Sean Ryan. And
Yeah.
it was awesome. So Isaac, great guy, love that guy.
Aaron Lauder, who did the graphic design for us all the way down in Australia, says all the best guys. Matt Sanchez, this is gonna suck. Been a faithful listener the last couple of years. Tim
Thanks, bud.
Stiles, bummer. The podcast will be missed. Kim Plua, that's too bad. Sorry to
Yeah.
hear it.
Kim's awesome.
Michelle,
Kim's
okay,
awesome.
you know her.
I know
Okay,
Kim. Yeah, Kim's like Robin. We didn't go to school together, but she has been a huge supporter since the book came out. She knows all of us. She's wonderful. So thanks, Kim. You know I'm not going to her. You still follow me on social media. I'll still be posting every once in a while.
Michelle D'Souza says, listening to Ian since SOFREP. Listening following Chris since the beginning of the aftermath of Benghazi. God bless you both. Too many favorite episodes and sad to know there won't be more. But wishing all your team the very best. This show will be missed.
God bless you too. Thank you.
Absolutely. Josh Rosebrug says, sure we'll miss you guys. Best of luck in your future endeavors. Jim Greer, I had my favorite episodes, but one in particular stuck with me. Tonto was talking about relying on Doc to get him through if anything ever happened to him. A lot of us cops felt the same way about our paramedic friends. Best of everything. We'll keep an eye out for what's next.
Yeah, that's awesome. Docs are great. Docs and cooks, you got to depend on them, man. They always, and I'm still depending on docs. I'm gonna have to get. I actually got my surgery for my shoulder since I ripped my rotator cuff. I can't get it till November 15th. So I'll be, again, another wonderful fall flying through the airports in pain, but takes my
Jeez.
mind off the flights. But yeah, I can't do it. So, but Doc got good orthopedic surgeon. He'll get another thing attached and I'll have another cool scar and a story to tell. So yeah, awesome. I love that. And Greer, I know that guy. How do I know that guy? I know that name. Maybe is it from the podcast? That's anyway, but
No,
I know
that's
you
fine.
from somewhere else. I do, but thanks, bud. I really appreciate that.
John Jackson III, who we've had on, who
Yeah.
was a best friend of Drew Dwyer,
Saint,
really
yeah, Saint. Yeah.
inspired this podcast. I don't think
Yeah.
this podcast wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Drew Dwyer. It
No,
just wouldn't have.
definitely. No, definitely.
So John wrote, "Gonna miss you guys. Best of luck to both of your futures." John's been on the podcast. John actually messaged me. This will probably be late by the time it comes up, but I'm pretty sure I gave him accurate information. He was like, "There's going to be a Tonto vodka tasting in Virginia." He's like, "I'll come out if I could meet Chris." And I was like, "But I don't think he's going to be there, right?"
There is. I didn't know there
Yeah.
was one. I didn't even know we were in
So
Virginia.
then you're not going to be there.
Well, if it's next year, maybe there's something.
No. It was like
planned.
a week from now or something.
Oh no, but I didn't even know we had Virginia. Are you? Yeah, John, I'm not going to be there because I'll be all the way on the other coast. I'll be on the West Coast whenever that takes place. I didn't even know we were in Virginia. That shows us how much I know about my businesses. Absolutely nothing. So, John, if
I
you
think
go,
it's Virginia. It may have been, maybe it's like South Carolina,
well,
it's like that area.
if it's the Marine Corps, because we got picked up by they're called the MCXs. They're Marine Corps exchanges. It's like the PX. They're the big.
But are you going to be
stores.
at any of these? It's like a week from now.
No, because
Okay,
I'm
okay.
speaking. I'm all.
Okay, I
gotta
gave him
go-
good information then.
Yeah, John, I'm sorry, bud. I won't be there. I'm actually on a little speaking tour for the next 10 days, so I won't be there, man. Sorry, you're gonna have to deal with. There's gonna be some pretty little blonde pushing pushing the
Nice.
vodka. So I mean, you get to look at somebody a heck of a lot better looking than me, brother. So still go anyway, man. I would recommend you still go anyway. Yeah.
Does wow, why am I forgetting his name now?
Oh, Morgan?
what?
Ben?
Yeah, does Ben Morgan go out to those?
Only sometimes if it's a long ways away. He's like me, can't because he's helping. He's
Colorado.
like the head of the sales in Colorado, so he's bouncing all around Colorado in the sales. So every once in a while, but most of the time, yeah, most of the tastings, it's some as some 20-year-old pretty girl that's pushing the vodka. So but at the Marine Corps, I don't know, it might be some huge ass jarhead. Who knows? It's going to be
Nice.
at the Marine Corps, the MCX. But John, yeah, I appreciate that. I'd go, buddy. No, I just won't be there, man. I'm going to be all over the place except for South Carolina. So my bad.
Okay. Yeah, or maybe in Virginia. I don't know. But Corey Haas says, congratulations, a lot to
Sorry.
celebrate. Good luck on the next adventure.
Thanks, bud.
Um, Hunter Styles, loved listening. Will be missed for sure. Ryan Weaver, who's been on the show, honored to have been on.
Thanks,
Been on
bud.
one, honored to know Chris.
Definitely.
Great
Thanks,
friend of the
bud.
show, Gary Brugman. How about no? With all the amazing episodes y'all put out, and he loves saying this. Episode 11 will live in
Oh
infamy.
yeah, definitely. I love Gary, man.
I love
He
Gary.
he got trained up to be a flood adjuster, so we're just waiting on a storm.
Officially, nice.
Yeah, he came through the flood adjuster class, did outstanding. Actually, I got one that's working right now in Wisconsin. Tremendous, dude. I
That's
tell you
awesome.
what, veterans, you guys have such the skill set in the
Well, he's
civilian
not. Is
world.
he technically a veteran? I don't remember.
Well, no, he is. He served.
Okay.
Yeah, he served. He's not law. He was Gary. Forgive me.
No, I
I
just
don't
know him
want to
as
say.
Border Patrol. I didn't know.
No,
Yeah.
he was. Gary, forgive me, dude. I can't remember if you're Army or Marine Corps. He was one of the two.
He may have
And
mentioned it on the episode. I think it's just because
yeah.
I know him as Border
Listen back
Patrol.
to
Yeah.
episode 11, and you guys can tell us. You guys can
Yeah.
shoot a message to Ian Scott or Rocks and say he was in the Army. But no, wonderful. He did a tremendous job. So we're just waiting on a
He's
storm. He's smart,
speak.
smart
I
cat.
was gonna say, speaking of my other channel, man, he is a guy who knows rock from the '80s like no other. I mean, he's even like better than me in terms of being an encyclopedia of like those
Nah,
bands from the '80s.
seriously?
Yeah, he really is. Because I remember at SHOT Show, me and him were debate like this tells you how in the weeds he gets. I saw Stephen Piercy right before SHOT Show a couple years ago, and I was like, but the drummer for Stephen Piercy is the drummer for Faster Pussycat, right? He goes, no. It's Scott Coogan, I think he said. And I'm like, oh, he was the guy in Prize of Destruction. He's like, yeah, and he plays in LA Guns right now. Like, dude,
I
unless
didn't
you
know that.
really
Yeah,
know your
I
shit, you don't know
know.
that.
Well, he did grow
He
up with
really
Rick.
knows his shit.
He grew up with Ricky Rackman, so obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I didn't even put those two. Yeah, and Gary's a great friend. He's just a good dude, just a good dude, and he's just always trying to improve himself. He's always trying to improve in
Yeah.
situation, and you got to respect somebody like that, and I do. Just as a person, but also he's a wonderful friend. So thanks, bro. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man.
And unfortunately, it's like Gary lost a lot of years with what
I
happened
know,
to him.
bullshit,
And so he's
bullshit.
making up for a lot of lost time.
Yes,
Um, a Waldemar, if I'm pronouncing that right, Zapata, thank you for the memories. Lisa, who writes us a lot,
good
Lisa
brother.
Nowicki Smelser, you guys will be missed, so missed. I actually like when it's just the two of you. Yeah, well, I like doing a lot of those
I
episodes.
did too, and she's one of the ones like Kim. She's been follower since the book came out and been a huge supporter. She's one of our troll fighters. She's one of the most people don't troll us anymore because we don't respond. But we used to have an army of troll fighters, and they would tear people up. Her Kim I would say it wrong. Playwa, Audacious Andy.
Yeah.
They would just decimate people that would troll me and Oz and Tig, and so yeah, Lisa's awesome. So thanks, Lisa, and you're always wonderful to us. And yeah, keep fighting them trolls for us. You guys kick their asses. We love it. So keep tearing them up.
Nice. Michael says, Michael Garsk or Garske says, dang, you will be missed. Regular listener here, helps get me through the workday, always
Ah,
entertaining and
thanks.
informative. Devin Fraser, so seriously good listening, will be missed. Yeah, there's a lot more to get to, which we will. I want to make sure I get, some more last sponsor reads in before we do, and
Go.
not really reads. We'll just improv here. Fort Scott Munitions. Fort Scott has been with us every single
Yeah.
episode. There will always be a partnership with you and FSM,
Yep.
and we love what they do. It's the best ammo on the market, and actually, it's kind of funny, man, because with my job now with loans and everything, every now and again I'll get a loan for someone who has a gun store, and I start a
No
conversation.
way.
Do you guys carry Fort Scott Munitions?
Did
Yeah, there was a guy
you
who doing an
you need
armory here in Brooklyn, and I started talking to him. So yeah.
you need to talk with Robbie Forrester, and you need a cut of that. That's sales, bud. That's bullshit. Robbie, if you're listening to this, you need to get Ian this cut for him
No,
setting
it's just
business
a
your way.
conversation starter, though. You know,
Yeah.
though, because they'll be like, "Oh, this guy knows his stuff." You know.
So, but and they do. They're just wonderful. And the range, we're expanding the range. I mean, we have at the Fort Scott Munitions Battleline Tactical Range. We have Connex boxes that we have a shoot house now that we've built. And a lot of you guys that have been to ranges that have those sort of capabilities, it's always Connex boxes. The backs they're the easiest thing to make, and we've got that out there. And I've got lanes that we actually are doing movement to contact through the woods, and it's wonderful. So that's expanding out there as far as what we can do with Battleline Tactical. So that partnership with Fort Scott Munitions, I don't see that ever ending unless Robbie just doesn't like me anymore. Robbie or Ryan just say, we don't like you, Tano, we're done. But in the meantime, no, we will always be with them. And the lead-free ammo, and now they got the range ammo. I mean, they're always expanding. And dang near every caliber out there they have. So, and they're just good people, man. That's the bottom line. Really are.
Yeah.
So thanks, Fort Scott Munitions, for really keeping us going. They did. They're the ones that kept us going. Definitely.
Yeah, and you can still use the promo code Battleline on all their stuff. So yeah, you use the promo code Battleline when you go to fsm.com, promo code Battleline. We also, of course, have a huge gratitude to the guys at Photonis Defense. Phil Otto wouldn't have happened without him. And as Phil Otto said himself, Sean Kirk is kind of the money guy, I've heard say. So thank you to Sean for making it happen. And not only being a sponsor, we've done so many podcasts with those guys, several in studio. They Phil did in studio with me and you when we were in Kansas. Phil did an in studio with Sean in New York City. Yep. And I did an in studio with those guys in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah.
So they've been to the Midwest, the East Coast, and the West Coast with us in studio. So I love those guys.
They are the subject matter experts in night vision. And Phil was a GRS guy with me, Marine Corps before that. So they have, and a lot of their workers there at Photonis Defense, their testers and the ones that are in charge of that product, they're all former Spec Ops guys or Marines and veterans that have used the product, so they know what the heck they're talking about. And Sean is always at the cutting edge. He always is pushing his guys to what's the next thing. And that's what you have to do in night vision, because it's just like anything. It's like AI. It's always changing. You have to have the next best thing the next day. And they do. They have tremendous. I have a pair of Vipers. Wonderful. And they're making a new generation of Vipers. So they're going to have some that are better than the ones I have. And mine are probably the best that you can get in the world. I'm going to say in the world. They're better than the ones I had when I was with the agency, better than the optics I had when I was with the Range Battalion. And of course they have to be, because they have to improve, but they're fantastic. So yeah, Photonis Defense, guys, check them out. You're a night vision lover, you go shoot coyotes, or you just like to get out there and train, or if you're with the military or law enforcement and you're looking for night vision for your guys to get them home safe, you got to go Photonis Defense. If you don't, you're selling yourself short. You really are.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say, I mean, this is more your expertise, obviously, but like no matter how trained you are, if you need to do something in the middle of the night and it's absolutely pitch black, you're screwed without night vision.
You really are. I mean, you can use the low light, you can use your flashlights all you want, but flashlights work both ways, guys. You're gonna be able to see the bad guy, but they can see you too. So, and so work with those things, specifically, guys, for those that want to hunt at night. They're wonderful, tremendous, but those that are in the government sector and in law enforcement sector, if you've got SWAT teams, you got TAC teams, you got to get with Photonis Defense, and because you want to win the fight and send everybody home. Give your guys the best gear to win the fight, and that's Photonis Defense by far. Same with Fort Scott Munitions, guys, but we're talking about night vision. Same with Photonis Defense. They're going to have the best capability to fight at night and operate at night, and just like for Scott Munitions, Sean and Phil are just wonderful people. Photonis Defense is a great company with great integrity. And that says a lot about their products too.
Absolutely. Photonisdefense.com, PHOTONIS defense.com. With that, we'll get to some more comments here. We got a lot of great feedback, which is nothing to complain about.
I didn't think we'd have this many.
We've got a ton here. So Bill Downey Jr., Chris Peranto, Say
Love
It
Bill.
Ain't So. Scott Tiedman, which I think I'm pronouncing right. He regularly comments on stuff. This was my happy place. Sorry to see it end and wish I could have done something to prevent it. I mean, you're making us feel like we did something horrible. Wishing you guys the best on future endeavors and blessings to you both. Never give up. Thank you, man. Stephen Feniger, I'm sure it was a tough call, but sometimes you got to tip the Band-Aid off for whatever reason. I hope that this frees up some time and energy for whatever is next, family, a project, or just well-deserved time off. Thank you for the
Hey,
memories. All right. So Jacob, Jacob Toplinsky, definitely a Polish name, says,
yeah,
I just started listening a couple months ago and I am hooked. I guess I'll have to go back and listen from the start, but I'll certainly miss your takes on current events. That had to be a hard choice. Best of luck. The switch is off. Um, Ra, if I'm pronouncing that right, says, God has more for you, brothers. Steve Hagen, I'm definitely going to miss listening to y'all. You guys made me smile and laugh a lot and definitely made my day better if it was a rough one. Also had amazing guests on the show, and they helped with motivation, and so did you two. I wish you, Chris, and Ian nothing but the best on your future endeavors, future ventures. Keep up the hard work and enjoy your time with your family.
thank you.
Um, Absolutely. Ray Perez, looking forward to the future, my brother. Ed Preston. Wow, there's so much here that's skipping ahead here. Jeez. So
Where
much
you get? Where are you reading this from? Is this from social? This is from social media.
Yeah,
What's
these
this
are all
from?
social media.
Really? Wow. Wow.
Ed Preston, gonna miss you both. Thank you for sharing so many stories, but more importantly, your honesty and humility.
Thank you.
Uh, Chris Steiner, sad to see it end, but excited for what's next, brother. Keep us up to date.
Steiner's a good dude, man. Keep doing your
Nice.
thing, buddy. Yeah, Steiner's solid as they come. Good guy.
Don Stanfield watched 13 hours last night. Thank you.
Right.
Devin Fraser, we still got you though, bud. Sam
Thank you.
Radford, what the fuck? Nick Giordano,
That's
we
I
already
love
read
it.
his stuff.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love it. That's me. Yeah, Sam. That's what I would have said. But me too, bud.
Brian Chamberlain, thank you, gents. Susan Pop, I'm sorry to see it go. Thank you, guys. Oh, Jeffrey Wilson, who does the show with Pat Miletich. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Chris, for coming on with Pat Miletich and myself on the Conspiracy Farm. All the best,
Always
fellas.
love Pat. Pat is a crazy SOB, man, but he's just a good dude. Is he still
Yeah.
fighting? Remember, like he had his neck fused and then he went and fought again. Like, jeez, that dude is tough. But
And he was on a very early episode if you guys want to listen back.
yeah, Pat's a great guy. Pat is
I've never
what
taken down an episode. Despite we've only had one guest who wanted us to take down an episode, and I convinced him not to.
well, but he had a good reason. We won't put it out
Yeah.
there. But
It just
he had
doesn't
a
have his
good
name
reason.
anymore.
Yeah, but
I'll
it
say
was
that.
and we understand that. I
Yeah,
much respect for any he was a tremendous operator. Let's just put it that for he was a great operator. So much respect to him. But and thank you for letting us work around that issue
yeah,
because your episode, buddy, was it's going to continue to help people. It's going to continue
yeah,
to help veterans get through hard times. So anyway,
for sure. Robert Crooks, the country needs you guys. I don't know if I'd go that far.
they do.
Lisa,
But you just don't sell yourself short.
yeah,
Just being able to smile is sometimes just what makes people's day. That's all it
yeah.
is, man.
Lisa Nowicki Smelser wrote something else, but I'm going to read this one as well because it's, I understand this. So she says, Battleline, Charlie, and Sean are my three favorite podcasts that I like to listen to on my way to work in the morning and on my way home. Sadly, all I've left is Sean, which I didn't understand at first. Then I read it and I realized, oh, Charlie
So,
Kirk,
yeah,
Sean
yeah.
Ryan. So, I mean, we could always come back. Charlie Kirk, you never
Oh,
will get another Charlie Kirk show, unfortunately.
I know that's just that sucks, man. It's just
Yeah,
regardless. We all beat. I don't want to beat that horse. It just sucks that regardless if you disagree with somebody or not, this to that extreme is horse shit.
of course.
And yeah, and I hope that I do. I hope that guy in Utah has the death penalty, and I hope that they use it because there's no excuse for that for
But the
that sort of
crazy thing
action.
is, and I mean, it was a powerful thing. I didn't watch the whole funeral, although, or celebration of life,
Yeah,
I should say, that they did at a
yeah.
stadium. I mean, how many people are going to fill up a stadium? The last person I think who filled up a stadium for their celebration of life was Chris Kyle. I can't think of anyone else. And it was pretty powerful. I didn't watch the whole thing, like I said, but his wife saying, "I forgive the young man who did this," and I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to do that in that
Yeah.
position, but I really do think it took down the temperature of kind of the country for her to say that because she could have gotten on stage and been very fiery. And I think it's a powerful thing to kind of calm people down.
But
The person most affected by this was able to say, I forgive this person,
And that
which,
says a lot about
yeah,
her heart. And yeah, I'm the same as you. Obviously I wasn't going to say that. You just heard what I said.
yeah.
But that's how I feel about it. Now, I'm not saying to go out and eye for an eye with, we don't, no, I was never do that.
But she could have
And
got on stage and said, we're at
she,
war, and
but
people would
that,
understand it, and
but
she didn't
that,
do that.
that just shows how wonderful a Christian she is, or
Yeah.
just a person. I say Christian, but also just a person. And the stupid thing, and a lot of us that have served in the global war on terror understand this. All you do is create more. If he was looking to stop, you create a martyr. It's called a martyr. You've created a martyr, and you're going to create a bigger following, which in this case is not, in my opinion, is not a bad thing, because he
Yeah.
was I didn't follow Charlie Kirk. I wasn't part of Turning Point. Actually, that was Oz, a lot more than me, but he was a devout Christian, and I am a Christian. I am not a perfect Christian by any means, and creating more people to follow Christianity is not a bad thing. So,
And neither was he.
um,
I mean, and he, man, there's been so many videos that have resurfaced that have
well,
kind of
he was a sinner. He was a sinner,
no,
man.
but but I'm saying in a good way, man. Because there's videos that resurfaced where it kind of shuts down the media's lies about
Yeah,
this guy.
yeah, yeah.
Um, there's a great video that came out of him taking down some idiot at his event saying, "Oh, why are you associating with gay people?" And
With gay
Charlie
people,
Kirk,
yeah, I saw
yeah, and
that.
Charlie Kirk says to him like, "Jesus Christ, talk to prostitutes and tax collectors." He's like, "You want me going out talk?" He's like, "I may be against gay marriage, but he's like, you want me talking to people that don't share my same values? Like we don't live in a theocracy."
No, you
And
don't.
yeah, so anybody so much slander of the guy that's complete bullshit. And I do have to applaud. I don't know if you saw Van Jones on CNN, but like what he
No,
said was very powerful because he had this text that Charlie Kirk sent him. And he was like, "Man, we were going at it on social media." And he's like, "And yet he sent me this text that said like, I think we could be gentlemen and respectfully have a conversation on this stuff." And it turned out Van Jones didn't see the text until after the shooting. And so for Van Jones to go on CNN and share that was able to say like, "Hey, some of the stuff you're probably hearing here isn't true," because he reached
yeah.
out to me as respectful as it could be. Um, Anyway, I interrupted the rest of her
No, you're good. You're
statement
good.
with
You're
that,
good.
but she wrote, "Oh, I also listened to the verdict. I'll miss you guys, but I can go back and listen to episodes that I haven't listened to." Exactly. Very few of you will listen to all
Now,
300 plus
now,
episodes.
what I gotta say is it in that order? Battleline Podcast, Charlie and Shaw. At least if it is, just say yes. Just make us feel good.
That
We're
would
your
be
top.
cool.
We're your top choice. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And it says, hopefully you guys will be back in the future. I absolutely get it though. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Junior Kessel, well, damn, I won't ever get to poke fun and make Copper jokes with you anymore, Chris Peranto. I
That's because
I don't get the reference.
well, I used to, when I did those sunglass commercials,
Oh, okay.
I was also a rep for Copperfit. There's actually
Okay.
there's a couple out there with me on Copperfit, and that was because
I
Copperfit's
don't
old.
remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was the same time when I did the sunglass commercial that would
Sunglass,
come
of
on
course, everyone
later.
remembers.
But that's the same group that makes Copperfit, and they're called Idea Village. They make a lot of that
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was a Copperfit guy, and we made a couple commercials, but why they didn't go on the big screen like big TV, it didn't go up on late night is because a month after that is when I said I was going to choke Obama out. And they pulled it. They pulled everything off. And so you'll still find some, and I'm not going to choke Obama out, Secret Service. Just let you know right now. It was just
I
what
feel
was
like you
said.
saying that like it was bad for you, great for Fox News, like
It was
great for clickbait.
shocker. What is it?
Yeah.
Clickbait, good for the media. And Pete Hegseth, who interviewed me at the time when I said that. But
Yeah, I'm sure it helped him, yeah.
oh, definitely. But you could probably still find the YouTube commercials on there
Oh yeah,
of the
yeah, you
cop.
can. Harold's played them on the show,
Yeah. So
like while we've spoken about them.
that was the Tommy Copper thing. He just keeps saying Tommy Copper. He forgets it's Copperfit. It's easy to confuse. It has the word copper in there. So it's an old
Okay,
man. Right? Basically, he's referencing me being an old broke man, which I am.
nice.
So I'm embracing that
You're
now.
not, and you always say it's like you're not that old. I know there's a lot
I'm
of wear
not.
and tear, but the way
Yeah.
you talk about being old, people would think you're like 70 something. I feel old because I realized I'm the oldest person at this job I'm at now. I
Are
am.
you
I'm the
really?
oldest person in the entire office. The
Holy
CEO is much
crap.
younger than me. Like
Wow.
but I look younger than some of those guys, so I'm cool with
You
that.
you do. You're aging gracefully, dude. Just like me.
Thank you.
We age
Because there
gracefully.
are people in this office. I'm like, I swear this dude could be in his 50s, but
And
they're
do
like,
you
no,
see,
I'm 37.
do you find that I do find that young people are aging? They look old, man. They look older. Or maybe it's just you and I
Are you saying
have that
millennials
good.
or Gen Z or I don't,
I
yeah.
that group. It does. I'll give them. They're balding. They look like they're 60
I'm
years.
not balding because I take finasteride. I have no problem saying
I
that. Once I
I
saw a little bit of balding, I was like, I'm getting on this finasteride stuff.
I've got good genes. My grandfather Joaquin had full head of hair, so did my dad. So I'm
Yeah.
very lucky. Granted, it's thinning, but I am 50, almost 55. So
Get on finasteride,
it's
bro.
gonna, no,
I
it's,
I've had no side effects. That's the
well,
only medication I'm on.
I'm good. I mean, this can still grow out. I can still look like Ponch from Chips from Eric Estrada. I can let this thing
Nice.
go and flow. I can flow be it, dude. I just don't choose not to. But if I do, if I ever feel like, oh my gosh, I'm getting really thin hair, but I
No,
don't
I
think I
wasn't
ever.
getting really, but like that's why I hopped on before. Is like you just notice these subtle changes, and then you hop on before it's too late. Because so many people wait for the huge bald spot, and then they're like, can't do anything about
Dude,
that.
they go,
But then you go on the finasteride, and you're good. Because I've been on finasteride now for like 3 years, and I'm good.
I'm good. I'm on the Garcia astride, whatever.
Nice.
My grandpa did. You you really do. Have you ever seen? There's not many bald Mexicans out there. Mexicans keep their hair.
Maybe, yeah.
Even Danny Trejo even's got a full head of hair now, dude. That's dude's done. What's he? He is like 70 something. But yeah, I will. No, I mean, if I see like a bald spot, but I don't really have anything.
Technology is like there's some cool things about technology.
Yeah.
I think it's kept me looking younger. But anyway, we'll go to X here. Um, of course, Sarah Adams was a great run. Thanks, guys.
Oh, of
Um,
course. Thanks for coming
Kirk,
on.
absolutely.
Definitely,
Kirk
definitely
Spradley
super.
had a great time and
Oh,
loved
my
being a
man.
guest and a fan. And yes, I know Kirk loves to say it. Kirk has the biggest clip on the entire YouTube channel.
Number one. Tadpole is number one.
It's at something like 120,000 views at this point.
I think he paid for it. I think you did that. You promoted our own
No.
video. I know you
No,
can't
you
do that.
you could tell because the comments, there's a
Yeah.
lot of those people who buy views. We've never done that,
No,
guys.
nope,
Yeah,
will not do it. Now Kirk's just a good. I mean, well, he's a good dude, and he's been through a lot of shit. And he was,
yeah,
man. I mean, that was a great. I know it hurt him to talk about it, but talking about the sniper that took out one of our buddies, Blackwater buddies, him be there on the rooftop when it happened.
yeah.
That was that's hard to talk about. I understand that, but he was very, very detailed in it, and that's people they do want to hear that.
But
Whether
that's
it's
not the number one clip.
what is the
The
number one
the
clip? I
number one
didn't
clip is him just talking about the difference between recon and force recon. And if you
really,
look at the comments, all the comments are slamming me and you. All the
really.
comments hate us on that video.
Why? Why? What? For
They
what?
say that we need to shut the fuck up and let Kirk talk. All of the
Oh,
comments on that video, but they don't listen to the full episode because we did let him talk. It was just but like, dude, every comment. I'm not even joking. Go to that video. Every comment is like, "Shut up, Chris. Shut up, Todd. Shut up, Ian." Both of us. We both get slammed equally. Let Kirk talk.
and look, we did, and there's probably a bunch of freaking Marines. You shut the fuck up, jarhead. Shut the fuck up. It's our show. We can say what the fuck we want. There. All right, done. But we love Kurt. But Kurt did. Of course he
Yeah.
did. Just stop having your 30-second attention span and watch the whole episode,
Yes.
you sons of bitches. All right, there we go. Said
But
no.
that's why it's the clip. The clips do well. All right. So Michael Jr., who we had on from Calvary Christian Center, I
Yeah.
still can't pronounce his last name for the life of me, and I'm Italian.
They've told
I
me
know
that
you
every
said
time I
Coachella,
go.
but it's not
It's not
Coachella.
Coachella. Yeah, it's not Coachella.
Sia Ciola, something like that.
Ciola.
Thank you for letting Dad and I be on with you. God bless you and your families. Thank you.
Oh, you
Nick-
guys are wonderful, and you guys keep doing that
Oh, yeah.
performance out in California. There's nowhere else is there a Memorial Day performance better than that one out there. That is
Yeah.
wonderful. Yuba City, California, guys. If you get a chance, go to Calvary Church and go attend it. It's wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. Nick Giordano, we already read his. So I'm
Love
not
you,
gonna keep
Nick.
reading yours. Georgia Sampson, who always not only comments, but donated generously when Harold was in the hospital.
Yeah.
So Harold, who's editing video, who always does a great job. Thank you for helping Harold. I know it meant a lot to him. So shout out for putting your money where your mouth is. I mean,
And
anybody who donated. Yeah.
Georgia is a troll fighter too. She's one of those first troll fighters. She was awesome. She would have I mean, it was wonderful having and there were, it was, a bunch, all those women, and they were very, very outspoken and very, very smart. You couldn't
Yeah.
outsmart, they'd kill any troll. It was wonderful having them. They were our Benghazi GRS, basically on
Nice.
social media. So thanks,
So
Georgia. You're awesome.
yeah, she rates, we'll miss you too. Thanks for 6 years of great interviews, brutally honest conversations, and at least a couple of stellar rantings. God bless. Donna Groves, sure gonna miss listening, but I totally understand. Thank you both for everything you've done and will continue doing. You're two great men. God bless you both.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Antifa or just brown shirts and black says, that sucks, but thanks for what you two have done for the past 6 years. Been
Thank
there
you.
since day one. You guys are awesome. Thank you, man.
Awesome.
Then we'll go to Instagram and then we'll wrap up. I mean, there's
Yeah,
so
because
many comments,
I
man.
still got to
You
go
have to get
pack.
going?
Well, I have to go pack and get ready to get to Kansas City to catch a
All
flight
right.
tomorrow morning.
Well, I guess I'll run through these quickly.
Okay, we got about 15 minutes. Let's
Okay. All
keep
right.
going.
Brad Thor, the great Brad Thor, says,
Oh, great Brad Thor. Brad, love you, buddy.
absolutely, says, congratulations on a great run. I'm honored to have been a repeat guest. Best of luck as you guys move forward into new and exciting chapters. I love Brad.
Yeah, you're a
Um,
rock star, Brad. Thank you for just even being cool about that. You are the Brad Thor.
yeah.
That's all I got to say. The Brad Thor. You know you're important when you put a "the" in front of it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Brad Thor, and he's just a great guy, just the
He
nicest guy in the
is.
world.
I
Yeah,
love that guy. Marty Scoveland says,
Marty.
what a great
Yeah.
run. Proud of both of you. And if you pick up Chris's book, it's got a Marty quote right there on the cover. I know Marty's got his own podcast now. He just
Marty,
started.
Marty's talented, dude. He is, in my opinion, just as talented as Sean Ryan when it comes to anything, interviews, writing, anything. He
Writing is
just
great.
and I think if he gets that sort of exposure is going to be just as big. And he's been around forever.
That's a tall order.
Well,
Not many people could be as big as Sean Ryan.
and I think it's just timing. It is all the timing. But what I'm saying is Marty, to me, it fits in that sort of that smart operator, still a badass bubble that he's extremely intelligent, extremely well spoken, extremely well written, and he's a badass. I mean, that's Marty, and that's where I put
Yeah.
Sean Ryan in that same category. So Marty, thank you for being a great friend, and the Ranger Way is still out there selling. I
Yeah.
love it, and that's a big part because of you putting your 2 cents on the back of it, man, or it's actually
Yeah.
on the front. I think
I
I'll have to
think.
look at it. I think
Yeah.
because it was the main one. I
Yeah.
had three different people do it, and I'm putting Marty. This is to me is the biggest, the most important statement. But anyway, thanks, buddy. God bless you,
Yeah.
Ranger, and I wish you nothing but success. And I know you're doing well anyway with your shares of Black Rifle coffees. You're doing all right.
I don't think, well, he's not. Is he still there? Oh, yeah. Luke's not there. Is Marty?
But Marty had the shares, so even if not,
Okay.
if he sold them, I'm sure he's doing
Stock, yeah,
very well.
stock is
Well, yeah,
stock
but
hasn't
that's
been doing well.
that thing Marty would have probably sold. Marty's a smart guy. He would have, if he sold them, he would have sold them at the right time. Marty's
Yeah.
brilliant. Marty
Yeah,
is
he's a
one of
smart
those
dude.
smart rangers, man. He's a smart ranger.
All right. The voice of the show, at official Debbie Rashawn, says, oh, you
Yes.
guys, huge congratulations on a massively successful show. And even though I'm sad about the end, but so glad for the show to have survived and thrived for 6 years. Sorry if I'm having trouble reading here
No,
because I'm just reading so much. But
and,
yeah,
De- and
she's great.
Debbie, and she has such a still to this day has such a sexy voice, dude.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and but like a horror voice too.
but it's that
Yeah.
sexy. Yeah, she does. She every time she comes like, man, Debbie, you're hot. You're hot, Debbie. So, but thank you. You're amazing, Debbie. We really appreciate you. And with me coming from Trumbullville and watching those
Oh
movies,
yeah,
jeez. But girl,
wild
and
movies.
sneaking in to watch them because I wasn't allowed to, and watching them on VHS with my friends, and then having you come on and be the voice of our show. That was cool to me at the beginning. When you said that, I'm like, what? No way. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So thank you, Debbie, and we wish you nothing but continued success. You're an icon. You really
Yeah.
are. So thank you, man.
I mean, I've known her forever. My radio career started in 2006. Debbie was there at Fangoria Radio. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've known Debbie going on 20 years. And yeah, in June it'll be 20 years.
And
So,
she's still making those. I listened to him on my show. You used to write for it.
obscurities. Yeah.
Obscurities. Yeah, they still come out with episodes every once in a while, and that's one of my favorite. I wish they were longer
I'm not writing them
than
though.
I know, and I'm sorry, brother, but I wish they were longer than 15 minutes because I mean, I get into those things and it's like 15 minutes, some 20 more miles down the road because they're great episodes, and she does a great job
Yeah.
voicing them.
Um, the great Paul de Gelder, for those who don't know, Australian military vet who
Yeah.
lost both his arm and leg in a shark attack. True badass.
Wow.
Uh, Great guy and always comments on stuff and has even collabed on posts, but never came on just because he said, and I get it. He was like, after all these years, he's like, I'm just tired of talking about myself.
I don't blame
Don't
you.
want to do
Yeah,
podcasts.
I'm with you, bud.
And
I don't blame you, man.
I love Paul though. I mean, how much more badass does it get
I
than
know.
that? And
Gee.
yeah, he says, "Well done,
Damn.
guys."
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, to be a diver and survive that and still,
It's
and still
freaking
be
crazy.
jacked. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a Paul's he's an inspiration to me, dude. That dude's awesome. Love that
yeah.
guy.
Another great guy, Sean Lake. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you both. Love Sean.
Love you,
Um,
buddy.
Dr. Jason Piccolo, of course, best of luck, brothers. Loved being a guest. So many great episodes. Jason's probably been on the show more than anybody else, I think.
Oh, and he's wonderful, and he's again brilliant again, and a lot of his predictions that he put out before Trump was elected, and he put those things out there. He was right, and he's still right, and he's going to be
Yeah.
right on a lot of the border stuff and homeland security stuff. So listen to Jason, listen to those episodes, and pick up his book and whatever
Which
else
has
he's
it
putting
forward
out
from
there.
you.
Yeah, it does. Well, of course. I mean, I brought it down. I made it because he's so much smarter than me. But the just follow him, and it's too bad his podcast is going away. But continue to follow Jason if you want to know about border security and homeland security. Listen to him. He knows what the hell he's talking about. And thank you, Jason, personally, because as soon as I mentioned those Henry rifles, he had those
Yeah,
nice lever action rifles. Henry, thank you, Henry. Appreciate it. They sent me two 44 Magnum rifles.
I remember he said he would do
Yeah.
it, and he
Yeah,
came
he
through.
did. He
Hey,
came through.
think of this, man. I mean, I guess you said you didn't want it, so I get, but like
Oh,
Jason delivered on his word and sent you a
yeah.
gun. And as far as I know, Sean Ryan did not.
Well, again, that was me. I needed to
I
reach
know.
out to Shot, but I don't want a SIG, dude. SIGs suck. I mean, it's a free gun, yeah, but it's no big deal. Maybe one of these days I'll hit Sean up and say, hey, dude, remember that SIG? Just to give him shit, but I don't know what I'd do with it. I probably would just throw it away. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't throw it away. Of course, I'd shoot it, but okay, I'll think about it. I'll
Did
think
it,
about
and
it.
also, does it mean that much when he offered one to Gavin Newsom as well?
I know.
Like, is it that
I know.
special after that?
I know. Hold on. I know.
Benny Glossop, thanks for having me on
Yeah.
twice and for having me as the first returning guest. It was an honor, and I'm grateful as well. You're a great host and interviewer, Ian. Love to Tonto too.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, Benny. I know it's been a while, bud, but we'll start talk. We'll get communication going again. It's been a little while, but I need to hit up Benny. Good guy.
He's a
Great
good
guy.
dude. Andres, a lot of these people who are good friends of the show on Instagram, really, these are a lot of these. Because Andres Segovia, who's a friend of the show, wish you both all the best in your next chapters. Kidar Doran, who's a friend of the show.
Yeah.
You guys have done a great job. Holly McKay, friend of the show.
Love
you guys
Holly.
are rock stars.
She's a rock star. Come on, Holly. You're the rock star. Come on. I know.
Yeah.
You're just being humble. I know.
Big Mike of Stallion Squad Fitness.
Yeah.
He sent me plenty of stuff throughout the years that I still wear.
That dude's still
Um,
lifting a freaking house. Did you see
Oh
that
yeah,
last thing? Oh
he's
my
always like doing
gosh.
these records, and then I'll be like, "Is it okay if I put Battleline
Heck
Podcast
yeah.
on my outfit?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
Hell yeah, dude.
Uh,
You're a monster. Love you, Mike. You're a good dude.
Yeah. So he writes, "Oh man, that sucks, but I'm sure it's for good reason. I loved all the stories shared on the podcast and emotions from Tonto, as well as many guests. Much love, guys. Fort Scott Munitions, thank you guys. The great Todd Apowski, great
Yeah.
work, you guys. Buena Fortuna." And that's
Yeah.
from Todd, because when he says Buena Fortuna, that is from Todd, who lives full time in wow, why am Costa Rica. I was
Costa
there. I'm
Rica.
like, where?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Costa Rica.
and has Camp Zen Commando where
Yeah.
veterans could go and do yoga and get away. And I have to say, man, this would be a whole nother conversation, but I think there's a ton of guys, including guys we've had on the podcast, who are like truly living the American dream outside of the
Yeah.
country. You know, it's so much cheaper to live somewhere like Costa Rica or Mexico, where if you could make money online and do it, it's amazing, you know, like and those
And
guys are loving it, man.
Costa Rica is beautiful. It is.
I've been in. I, I would do
I've
if and I'm not moving out of the country, but if I was, I would do Mexico before I'd do Costa Rica. But I
I,
will visit Todd in Costa Rica at some point.
I worked Costa Rica a few times doing anti-kidnapping, and it's gorgeous there. It's just, I mean, well,
I loved it. I loved all the dogs, right?
yeah, and you could lemurs. Where the hotel I was staying at, there'd always be a couple lemurs in the parking lot. I mean, it was cool.
It was.
It was. So, yeah, yeah. God bless you, brother. Keep doing good things too. And
Yeah.
you're helping vets just by what you put online, man. Definitely. So, good dude.
Am I just seeing the same comments here? It's weird. No. There's more. All right, Scott Ian Lewis. You guys did a lot of great
Yeah, my
stuff.
man.
Definitely gonna miss the show. I
Thanks,
remember how we
buddy.
first got a hold of Scott Ian Lewis because, truth be told, I listen to a lot of metal. I'm not a huge death metal guy. I mean, I know death metal here or there.
Yeah.
I remember Scott commented on the episode with Corey Taylor,
Yeah.
and he wrote two of the goats, meaning you and Corey Taylor. And then I saw the comment, and I was like, wait, that's the guy
That's
from
Nick.
Carnifex. And I was like, we gotta have him on.
I didn't know they I like who probably, and I
Yeah.
checked it out. No, I do. Maybe it's because I know Scott now, or because we have become. I would consider us friends, but I was never a huge death metal guy either. I listened to it. Some of it was because a lot of guys I served with listened to it, and I got into some of it. Some of them I didn't, but I like Carnifex, man, and I like Scott. I liked how hard Scott works. Man, that dude,
Yeah.
his story, like, dude, you are the hardest working man in show business, and the sacrifices he's made. So I love, yeah, that episode is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
We got Scotty and Liz on, and he's a great guy, guys. Tremendous guy.
Oh yeah, this is another Kirk Spradley. Thank you for having me on. I had a
Of
great
course,
time.
bud.
Um, JT Patton,
Yeah.
Kantoism, he writes. Shows end, beer gets warm, ammo runs dry. The only thing that lasts is the story you left behind. Great run, Chris and Ian. Yeah,
Thanks, buddy.
awesome.
Good luck with your books. I'll keep promoting your books out, bud. Whenever you have one, I always see it and I put it on my stories. So definitely keep doing
Shayna
that.
Melton, thank you guys for the dedication, stories, honesty, and all the years. Oh, my friend Tracy Korecki, who worked with me at Soft Rep. Job well done.
Thank you.
Michael Sr., we read Michael Jr. Michael Sr. says, such a great podcast. Thank you for featuring AGNR on one of
course.
them. Much appreciated. Alex Decker, congrats on a great run. It was a fantastic show. John and Tonic, oh man, that's not the big news I was expecting to hear. And he says that because I said at the end of the episode you weren't on when I played the Patriots Creed. I said
Yeah.
we have a big announcement next week.
Oh, you catfished him, dude. You catfished him.
It's a big announcement.
No,
I
no.
mean,
It
definitely
is.
one of my favorite shows to listen to every
It is.
week. Appreciate all the laughs, tears, and wisdom from you guys over the past several
Thank you.
years. Chris Lee RN, she's written us a few times. So sorry to hear this. Best of luck to you both in your endeavors. Collector's Carrying Case wrote, damn, one last show. And I told him we do have, we are going to do a last show. Capstick Quotes, I really enjoyed it. Well done, guys. Dark
Thank you.
Side Spiritual Club, good luck with future podcasts. Thank you for creating some incredible, real, truthful, raw, inspiring, and insightful content. D.
Yeah.
Glent 2005. Damn, sorry to see this, guys. All the best. Sweat Muscle Jungle Work. Great job, Ranger. Rand Howe 2018. You had a great run. I learned a lot from you both. So many times. You both got me through a bad day. I will miss hearing you on the show. Huggy Bear Actual. Always enjoyed the podcast and any other podcasts both of you respectively were on. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Siobhan 589, God bless and good luck in your future quality endeavors. Thank you. Alaska, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Congratulations on your many successes.
Thank you,
And there's so many
Alaska.
of these. Welsh Warrior 895, genuinely gutted. Your podcast was the first podcast I had ever listened to. Wow. Kept me sane traveling back and forth to Libya over the years. Thank
Nice.
you for the fantastic interviews with some amazing guests. Good luck in your new adventures. And he put the U.S. flag and the British flag, so I believe he's a British guy
UK. Thanks,
or
bud. Thanks,
UK.
mate. Thanks,
Yeah.
mate. Appreciate it.
91 flashback. Well, this is depressing. Thanks, guys, for the dope content. Christian B6991, for years, it's been one of my favorite podcasts. Shannon, I'm going to run out of time here. I'm trying to run through these. Shannon Davis 78. Dang, I remember episode 1. Sorry to hear that, but thank you both for
Thanks.
everything, and I hope you are both on to bigger and better things or just living peaceful, happy lives. Thank you, Ian
Ah,
and Tonto. Kilo One Guns, priorities change. Brother, nothing wrong with that. Spend more time with the
thank you.
family.
Thank you.
Scotty Macma, I've been listening since the beginning, so this is hard news, but I also understand when it is time to move on. I've learned so much from your show and your guests. Thank you for your service to our country and for teaching me so much, so much. May God bless you both. Greg Andrew, I don't know how many of these we have. Greg Andrew P. All good things come to an end. Creating a community spawned by the aftermath of 9/11 and the ensuing GWAT is a remarkable thing. I just hope that a new generation wants to learn what happened and why we all
Well,
did and why we did what we all did afterwards, mistakes and all. If I ever want to meet up for drinks on me in New York City, give a shout. Randy Dollyhigh, he's written many times.
yeah, that's a good
Hey
dude.
Chris, I've enjoyed the podcast so much. I hate that it is ending. Are you going to do something else that will take its place? It made me feel great when you read my questions and answered them on the air, or I just sent a comment about something and you talked about it. I really miss seeing you in person, and I'm trying to get there to do a class, but life is getting in the way. You are the best, and people need
Thanks,
you
buddy.
badly to help them through life.
Thank you, bud. Yeah, just Randy, I know your health is wearing on you. Randy, you came to a lot of Battleline courses back in the early days, so that's probably about the only time you're going to see me from here on is just doing the Battleline tactical stuff out here. And then like even the speaking events are all corporate events, so they're always closed. Rarely do I do open events anymore just because I don't know, just it hasn't worked out that way. So but anyway, bud, you're always welcome out here in Kansas. And if ever I get back to Florida, then I think that's where Randy's at is Florida. Used to be. Then we'll have a course there. But you know Boone's always there, so go ahead and get with Boone and you're going to get trained up right. And Christy was again another one of those troll army of troll fighters. She was freaking awesome. And when I heard that name, guys, I'm appreciate that. I would at least want to give a shout out for all those troll fighters because
Yeah.
they kept us sane in those early days that we didn't have to fucking we didn't know how to handle that sort of stuff. And they took a big burden off myself and Oz. Tig liked to fight with the troll. So I don't know if you
Oh
took
yeah,
much
he
off,
loves.
off Tig, but me and Oz definitely. So yeah, God bless you guys. And I know we got a ton, guys. I wish we could say it to each one. We just not gonna have time.
Yeah, but I think I read everything as of now. I mean, more is going to come in, I know, but I think that's everything from all the social media sites. I'm sure we're going to get more emails because, like I said, there's a ton of people who listen but don't do social
Are
media.
you gonna keep the podcast Instagram up? Or are you gonna take it
Yeah,
down?
yeah, there's no
Yeah.
reason to get rid of it. I'm not going to be active on it, I don't think, but it'll still be
Well,
up.
at least it'll be something there that people, and if you know,
Yeah,
you're like me, there's times where I don't really doom scroll anymore, but when I'm
yeah.
traveling, if I'm bored, I mean, yeah, that's probably when I am most active. When you see me most active on Instagram is when I'm sitting in a hotel and I'm just bored at night, and then I will go through and that's when you see me liking all the old school music, the old R&B I used to listen to,
Yeah, I just always feel
yeah.
like it's I when I'm in that position, I try to get my reading done. I try to,
Well, yeah,
like right now I'm reading Stephen Lynch's book from Autograph. I want to read that Charlie Sheen book. So, yeah, I mean, I would
Tiger's Breath.
say to me, word to the wise to everyone, stop with the doom scrolling and read some good books.
Me, I am when I say doom scrolling, I mean I'm not even that. I've worked out, I've got off the road, I've done my work because guys, I still work. I'm not a
Yeah.
flood insurance adjuster anymore, but I manage about 20 flood insurance adjusters, and I still have normal work that I do, and it keeps me sane. And so when I'm traveling, I'll get to my hotel and I've got adjusters that are asking me questions, and like a good manager, I'll answer them, and then I'll hit the gym, and then I'll get some food, call my family, and then watch a movie, and then every once in a while I'll jump on, let's check what's going on. I'm bored. And it gets me tired. So yeah, I get enough reading insurance documentation throughout
That
the
is the
day.
thing that sucks because I'm at my job and you don't have the so that's why when I have the wherewithal, because it
Yeah,
takes a lot more brain power truthfully to read a book than to
it
read
does.
crap on social media.
It
So,
does.
yeah, I don't have the and that's also why I'm not working out really much during the weekdays because it's just I'm drained. So, I am on the weekends, which speaking of guests we've had on the show, I was working out yesterday, and I'm like you, my music is all over the place. But a guest we've had on the show, we've had members of Static X Bled for Days came on, and I'm like, this is
Ah,
the ultimate workout. So like just
Static
the
X.
repetition of it, it's like if that song will motivate you, put on Static X Bled for Days.
Static X before and after
Yeah, Wayne
they're
Static.
still yeah,
Rest in peace to Wayne
sweet,
Static.
yeah, are wonderful. And that's another, I loved having them on. And again, another podcast were extremely candid about
Yeah.
it was. And I don't think he was been as cant maybe. Oh, he very outspoken. Help me out, bud.
Yeah,
Why am
Edsel
I'm
dope.
drunk.
It's
That's so
funny
dope.
having him on
Yeah.
with Tony Campos. That's one of those like you can tell Tony man a few words, and
Yeah,
Edsel had a lot to say.
Tony, man, but just one of those, it was another great episode. And
Yeah,
they
it's a
did
fun
talk
one.
bluntly about Wayne Static, and that was
Yeah.
wonderful because I don't know if they've talked about, maybe they have.
Oh, of
Again,
course. They're putting out a
yeah.
documentary at some point on him.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I don't know. I
Oh,
guess it depends
I'll
how it's
watch it.
portrayed. Well, I'll
They have
definitely
like good.
watch
They
it.
have a really good cameo. Like Dave Navarro is going to be in the documentary. They got like some really big names. I'm definitely going to check that out.
I love those documentaries because, and
Yeah.
that's again a genre that I grew up with in the military as well, and so I want to hear it. And meeting after meeting Etzel Dope and having him on the podcast a couple of times, another guy that's just he's a closet genius. He's a genius. You can just tell talking to him. The dude is whoa.
Yeah.
You're seeing the Einstein
Well, that
T
I
equals MC
definitely believe
squared.
Static X never would have done anything if it wasn't for him again.
For him.
Like he made it happen, I
He's
think.
motivating, dude. You can just tell talking
Yeah.
to him. He's driven, and I love that about people. Whether I like what you do or not, and I do like what he does. I love
Yeah.
his music with Dope, and I love the new Static X, just like I love the old Static X. But you can just tell talking to him, he's business, dude. He's all
Yeah.
business, and he's already got a plan, and it's gonna be successful. You just got to put 110% in, and I love that because that's Ranger Battalion, man. That is. And so you would have made a great freaking Ranger, brother. You would have been. And so then I know that's wonderful to hear. I'll watch the documentary when it comes out. And
Yeah.
if
They're
we
touring
ever
right
bring this,
now.
good. Yeah, they should be. I'm so
Yeah, so
shocked they wouldn't be.
go see them if they're coming to your town to the audience. I guess that's it because that's all of the comments. We really appreciate all of it. I mean, any final thoughts from you
You
before we
know,
peace
my
out for the
dog,
final time?
my dog, my Doberman here. She's like, you got to go. She's telling me right now.
Does she need to go outside or
You
anything?
get, yeah, she
Oh
does.
shit. Okay.
She's like, oh no, she's a Doberman, wonderful dog. Dobermans are dopey. They're extremely dopey, but they're extremely smart. And she's ready to go, but also extremely protective. So stay away from my house, guys. She will eat you, and she doesn't like men at all, which is great. I don't want her. I didn't. She's not a biter. We didn't train her to be mean. It's just her nature. She trusts women a lot more than men, but she's extremely protective. But that's a Doberman. Dobermans are bred, but she's not going to go out there and maul a 5-year-old. But she's a wonderful, sweet dog. And when she's smart, when she knows how to tell me when she needs something. So yeah. So I'm glad she got to come in the picture. You guys never get to see my family. Well, here's part of my family you guys don't get to see. And so God bless you guys. And Ian, and I know I'm not going to speak for Ian, but I think I can in this case. We
Of course.
both
Yeah.
we both love all you guys out there. And 6 years went by quick. I didn't.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, it was like yesterday. where we really started. It really is. I can still remember having our conversation with Alex Jones and Ted Nugent back in the early days, and
I
Jack Murphy,
remember
which was a great
driving.
episode.
I remember driving out to Atlantic City to see you
Yeah,
when the idea came about.
big speaking event I did there, and that's where the plan was formulated. So
Yeah,
yeah, but so God bless you guys. Thank you again, and still follow Ian on Ian Scotto Rocks. I'll still be
thanks,
on
man.
social media. I know I don't interact too much on it, but I will every once in a while. And Battleline Tactical still out there training, so we're still around. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, thank you guys. The things I was just thinking about too. Of course, we already mentioned on the last episode, but the rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. But then rest in peace to a few guys we've had on the show, man. John Bartolo,
Bartolo,
who passed away, and then
Esperanza, man.
yeah, Vincent Speranza. But I was
Vincent
also going to
Speranza.
say Spanky. What was his real name again?
Yeah,
Robert
Robert Allen,
Robert
dude, great.
Allen.
One of my best friends. He is. He's one of my best friends. He was a guy that at Blackwater that me and Mike Haynes, Sawbones, old SEAL, we were trying to vet him to be an instructor, and we crushed him. And Mike was a very athletic guy too. Former, I think he was SEAL Team 8. Mike, forgive me, but we didn't know if this kid came off, and he looked like Spanky. He did. We're like, this dude is not in shape. There's no way he could come instruct with us and be an agency instructor because that's what we were vetting him for, and we crushed him, and he didn't quit. Like, okay, this guy's good, and I became friends with Spanky Robert Allen ever since. And he became a major. I mean, he went high up in the military, dude. I don't know if he made like colonel, but he was close. I think he would have if he didn't, Pat. But he was a major, and he spent a lot of time in the sandbox, and he's just a good dude. Just
Yeah.
a regardless all that other stuff, he just was a good person with a good soul.
Yeah, rest in peace to anyone we lost to in the show. I mean, we've had dude, we've had Holocaust survivors on the show with Stammy
Yeah,
Steigman. We've had so many.
yeah,
Like, I really am proud of what we did on this show, and I just having Robert Allen on, for example,
yeah.
he wasn't a public figure, so
No,
this is really the only place you're going to go to get to relive a guy like that and his
and here
stories. Yeah, meeting
normal, just
Ambassador Stevens and working with him.
just even our banter because we are friends and we
Yeah.
back and forth. Tom Alabrando, another one, that Blackwater buddy
Mm,
of mine that worked
great
at
dude.
IWI. You should. He's a great. If you ever get a chance, train with him. Train with him. It's just him and I having banter together, just going back and forth and reminiscing. To me, this was pod, and it did become that. And that's what I wanted it to be. And I know Ian. When we talked about Atlantic City, it's just two guys talking at a bar or having
Yeah.
another person come up and just chatting and let's just have a conversation. If you want to hear it, then you can hear it. If you don't want to hear it, you don't have to. But we're not going to get in the weeds. We're just going to talk. And if we
Yeah.
go in the weeds a little bit, well, that's where the conversation went. But
Yeah.
it wasn't planned that way. We never planned
Yeah.
it to go into whatever area it went. It just went. And even you and I, you could tell there's. I know a lot of them out there. Listen, when we had disagreements, but it never got crazy. It was just
No.
it never got crazy. But we could. I don't know if I agree with. I don't know if I agree with you. Well, all
It's
right. Well,
fine.
agree to
Yeah.
disagree. Let's move on. And that was fun too. It all was fun, and that's why I'm glad we're putting it up on the shelf, and maybe one day we'll bring it back off. And if we don't, we've got those episodes that will always be there, and
Yeah.
you guys can always hear them. Always.
Yeah. There's something really special about like creating something that has this positive impact on people. It, like I said, it means a lot. I mean, we were not the biggest podcast by any means, but when you look at the comments people have, this was clearly not something where it was just like, oh, I let the time go by and listen to the background. Those weren't the comments. So like, I'll take the fans who were like, this helped me, this got me through a time, way over people who were just like, yeah, I listen to this in the background.
Yeah.
And there's way bigger podcasts where it's just like more people may have listened, but it didn't have great impact on their life, and
Positive
it didn't
impact.
change their mindset, and it didn't give them that never quit attitude, like Nick said, or
Yeah.
the last thing I was going to say, just because of the timing of this episode, we're currently celebrating Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, of course, which means that Yom Kippur is right around the corner, and which also means that October 7th, we're commemorating, certainly not celebrating 2 years since those terrorist attacks and, the kidnapping of these people, including American citizens, So definitely keep them in your thoughts and prayers because some of those people have still not been retrieved, whether dead or alive. Families that just want to have a proper burial. And, I know the Israel issue is always going to be a contentious issue for people, but I do think, regardless of where you stand, many people have lost sight of the fact that there are American citizens who were held hostage over there. And so if you're going to say it's not America first to retrieve American hostages, I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, that's a big issue just because of the timing. This is going to be up right before October 7th, and I can't believe it's been 2 years since that.
Time flies, and with that, guys, war's hell. That's all I gotta tell you, man. Whether it's a full blown war or if it's just these little, which is what usually is these I don't say little, but small in just the number of fighters and battles that go on that pop up, and you can take a side, but in the end, and I've told people, I've said this every time I go out there, wars only start with both sides think they're right, and we lose focus of who's caught in the middle, and that's usually civilians. And
Yeah,
I have a big because I've seen that how civilians get caught in the middle, and how little girl in one of my episodes where my missions when I were in Baghdad, where she got blown up, and she didn't have any. She was out playing, and that's
yeah,
it. So we got to understand that, and you can take a side if you want, but in the end, there's people there that didn't take any side. They just wanted to go to a rock event, and now
yeah.
they're still either dead. Well, they're either dead or they're still they're still in whatever in captivity. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
putting out like propaganda videos
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the enemy and
And
also, it's
so just don't
right,
lose
this will
sight of
show
that.
my bias, I guess, but I don't think it's bias. I think it's just a fact. If anybody, is taking the opposite side of me, and I'm certainly not a fan of the prime minister over there and everything, but I mean, to anybody who thinks that if Palestine got full statehood, do you think that would be a government hostile to America, or do you think
Of
they would be
course it
friendly
will.
with us? Like this is as common sense as it gets. Like they would not be very friendly towards America, regardless of how you feel about Israel. If somehow the tables turned over
Well,
there,
and
and
all you
I
got
think
to do
that's as common sense as it gets because go look at every other Islamic theocracy and our relations with them.
well, that's just not coming from Christians and Jews. That's coming from other Arabs too. The
Yeah,
Qataris, the Kuwaitis, they know, they understand that, but wars, it's always going to be like that. I hate to
yeah.
say it, it will. There's always going to be homecoming. There's always going to
I know we
be
got to wrap this up. Yeah,
there's always going to be a difference because, and especially from people that have never fought, that don't understand. And do I think that everybody in Lebanon that we should be bombing the heck out of the Hezbollah over in Lebanon, or Israel should be? And are there innocents dying over there? Oh, yeah, of course
of
there
course.
is. I mean, our guest Rob Jabber that we had on, his father is caught in that, and it's tough for Rob because a lot of us. Are we more supportive of the Israelis or are we more supportive of Hamas and Hezbollah? Well, we're more supportive of the Israelis. And it's tough for Rob to even talk to us now because he's angry. But I get that.
Yeah,
If
of
my
course. I
father,
would
if my
too.
father was caught in the middle of
Oh
that,
yeah.
and again, that's Hezbollah. That's not even Hamas. Should we even be in there? So there are different perspectives. And for those of us that have fought alongside Muslims and fought alongside like Rob, who is Lebanese and who now is angry because of what's going on. I said there's no right answer except to end it, but wars will never end. And I'll tell you right now, they won't because of this. They won't. The prime minister or whoever else, the heads up top, they're never gonna end wars. And also because of control and everybody's got to be right. But who
Yeah.
suffers?
But
It's
also, I will always say, currently, no matter where you stand, Israel is in an impossible situation when you have thousands of tunnels where they're going to pop up
it,
on. They're not killing like military or
yeah.
politics. They're popping up in kibbutzes where people just want to live their life and holding them hostage and throwing them into tunnels. Like, I really feel like the American public doesn't understand this issue, unfortunately.
And you're right. And you're exactly right. And I always ask me, I do get this asked at speaking events where they're going to do Q&As. Who do you support? Well, I said, well, I'll be honest, Hamas actually took some responsibility of what happened to Benghazi, so I have an issue with that. And also, when we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, Hezbollah and Hamas were huge supporters of the terrorists we were fighting. And as far as I know, the Israelis never tried to kill us. So, of course, I support Israel. That's what I'm going to do. But also, what I say is, let it be. Let them fight. Then they're going to need to fight it out. And whoever wins that fight, that's who needs to be in charge of that area. And I'll be quite honest, who's going to win the fight is Israel. They're just better trained, better weapon systems. And I know they're top tier because I've worked with them before. And if that's how it works itself out, then that's how it works itself out, because you're exactly right. They have to go to work and go to eat and go to their coffee shops and go to these places every day. And they're surrounded on all sides. We forget about that. They are surrounded on all sides by their enemy or people who want to kill them. And they have to live their lives every day like that. And until you've been in an area, just even for a month, where that's the case, where the threat of you going to get a kebab is you could die, you will never understand. So, Brian, I know I don't think we're ever going to have everybody understand that unless you've actually been in the middle of it. And then you're going to take a side, and that's fine. But as far as America goes, let's get our hostages, grab them. But as far as the battles go, how do we say this? And you agree with me or not? I'm like, let them. It's their fight. Let them go. Who wins? Stop stopping. As Americans, we always stop when they're about ready to finish off the terrorists, and that just allows them to regroup. And we've done that since we were deploying overseas. And let it go. Let Israel do what they need to do. If they lose, well, then maybe that's what it was meant to be. Are they going to lose? No. They're not. Yeah. They're too good. They're too skilled at war, and they are very skilled at war.
Yeah, more than anything, like I said, I just wanted to mention it because of the timing.
We went down a rabbit hole. There's our rant. Yeah, we got our one rant.
I get it. Yeah, and for those who do celebrate Happy New Year, I work at a company now that's basically, mostly Jews. A lot of people are taking off for the holidays, so it's an important time of year for people. It's a fresh start of the year. Yeah. Anything else? I know that that doesn't pertain to the podcast completely, but this has been a huge part of my life for 6 years. Huge. And this was a tough decision, I think, for both of us. But it just, like I said on that last episode, it goes back to that thing I heard from Ariana Huffington, that you just have to realize you don't have the time for everything. And sometimes you have to prioritize things. And I think we had a great run. And truthfully, just about anyone I've wanted to interview that would work on this show, I've interviewed. I mean, we've had so many repeat guests because it's not dude, we interviewed the guy who killed bin Laden. We interviewed the Holocaust survivors. We interviewed World War II survivors.
Rob's
interviewed
an all right
people
guy
from every branch.
That's good. Rob's awesome. Love Rob. Yeah. Rob's an all right dude. Yeah. He's all right. No, Rob's a friend. Rob's a great guy. Love Rob. And Rob is he's a bigger joker than me. And that's saying a lot. Now, it's been awesome, guys. Thank you so much. And you got to see Belle. And Belle says thank you too. Belle says, "Will you shut up? I got to pee." That's what Belle said.
Well, we'll wrap it up. All right. And for the very last time, even though it doesn't make sense to hear that outro where it says we'll be back on Tuesday, because we won't be back on Tuesday. We're going to hit the outro music with Debbie Rashawn and music by Jimmy Allen. And thank you, Harold, for producing all the video.
Thank you, bud.
And that's it, guys.
Never quit, guys. Keep rocking.
That's all for this episode of Battleline Podcast. But we're always posting new content on social media. Follow us on Instagram at Battleline Podcast and on Twitter at Battleline Pod. That's an order. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes up every Tuesday. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or your podcast platform of choice. Believe in yourself. Face all challenges head on. And as always, never quit.